Okay, hi folks, my name's Kat. I'm the dog trainer behind Terrier School. I have 2 border terriers and I'm going to take you on a walk with us today. And around that walk I'm going to talk about the mental load that goes along with having a difficult terrier, okay? And the amount of extra stress that could put on you on a day-to-day basis. And hopefully as we go around this walk, I'm just going to give you some extra ways with which to manage that mental load. Okay, what I want to do with this little tour of this walk is give you some tools, techniques, thought processes that aren't necessarily going to fix your reactivity, right? I can't do that for you in a free video in however long this takes me to explain all this stuff to you. But I can give you some things that can make your life better instantly on a day-to-day basis, right? In terms of just reducing the stress a little bit for you and reducing the stress a little bit for your dog as well, so that you can go about your daily lives a little bit easier, okay? And then if you do want to move forward and actually fix those problems, the options will be there for you to do that at the end. So let's just start with a little bit about me, who I am, so you know who you're talking to. My name's Kat. I've been a dog trainer now for the last 6 and a bit years. I basically became a dog trainer because of my difficult terrier Elvis, who is currently taking a poo. So let me go and fix that. Right, back. Didn't need to see that on camera, did we? So I'll introduce you to the team. This is Elvis here, and this is his little sister Beatty. They've just come for a check-in. Good dogs. There we go, back on our walk again. Like Elvis, as he was going to be our perfect family pet, okay? I wanted a small dog that could be nice and active and, you know, do all our family activities with us. But that was small, you know, like I didn't want a great big dog around the house. And that's why I, have to do my research. I chose border terrier, and a lot of people will have done a similar thing, right? They want a small, active dog. And a lot of the literature around them says, super friendly, super trainable, all that sort of stuff. And none of that is not true. So I was working with a gun dog trainer at the time, who sort of said to me, everything, it's just about the training. If you get the training right, everything will be fine, okay? And it just isn't true. And I came to realise in time that it wasn't true. So the first little bit I'm going to take a little, step out of my story here, is I can now see I've got a dog walker approaching me, okay? You might be able to see them in the distance. No, you can't, right? But I can see ahead of me that I've got some people coming with a dog, okay? So here's the first part of the mental load of having a difficult dog, right? It's the fact that I've now got to do something with these 2, okay? Because I know that one of them, although he's much recovered, Elvis, I've got to keep him nice and close to me, is a lot better than he used to be. He can be really difficult, so I now need to get him and put him on lead, right? So I'm sort of constantly, all of the time, thinking to myself, Els, yeah, good boy. So let me just pop him on the lead, because I don't want to have any problems. Now, obviously excuse the filming here. Obviously I've done the training with my dog, right? Okay, wait there, buddy. And he now recalls to me and comes to me whenever I need him to, which is one of the things that can massively reduce your mental load. Because I'm sort of on this camera, I'm also going to put Beatty on the lead because I just want to make sure that nothing goes wrong, even though she's a nice sociable dog. There we go. Pop her on the lead. Excuse my rubbish filming here, guys, but I'm on here. Okay, and I can also see that what's coming this way is 2 spaniels. Now, I'm sure they're super well-behaved spaniels and good dogs, but I also know that Elvis has had a run-in with spaniels and he's not necessarily going to be super chuffed about it, right? So I'll just pull him out the way. Come on, you. Good lad, Els. Up, up, up. Look at me, mate. Els. Come here. You sure? So this lady's now said I can go by. Good lad. Come on, mate. Sorry, he's not the most sociable with the dogs, and unfortunately spaniels is the one thing he's had a lot of run-ins with. I'll just take him by. That's it. Thank you very much. Come on. That's it. Good dogs. There you go. There's that lovely lady with her 2 spaniels. Now, that's real life day to day there. I'm sorry if the filming was a bit rubbish through there. Let me just let these 2 off the lead again. No, come here, Bips. Good girl. Let them off the lead. Good boy. Come on, Oz, let's go. Now, that's the kind of mental load that people who don't have difficult dogs don't have to deal with. Okay, now actually, Elvis is pretty good these days. And as you see, he's not kicking off. You didn't hear him screaming. He's not barking at other dogs, okay? I know that he's, potentially got issues with that type of dog. So I have to be aware, right? I'm spending my whole time, nice check-ins from them again there. You see, good dogs, come on. That I have to be thinking about that stuff as I'm going along, right? So there's the first little bit of mental load that you're dealing with. Right, okay, let's get back to telling you about me. Okay, so yeah, basically, long story short, I ended up running into a whole load of problems with Elvis, okay? When he hit adolescence at about 18 months old, his prey drive just went absolutely through the roof. It just turns out, I think, that genetically he had a lot of that in him, and I could lose him for hours, right? He would chase after stuff. I wouldn't be able to get him back. When he was on the lead, he was just hyper aware of everything that was around him. At the same time, he got very wary around other entire males. He's an entire male still, and he had a couple of run-ins, so like a couple of bigger types. There was a Labrador and a Vizsla, I think, came running up to him, and got right in his grid. Now, nothing bad happened, right? There was no sort of fights at that particular time. Obviously, with him being a smaller guy, they ran up to him, got right in his grid, and he just wasn't cool with it. Okay, right. I'm going to stop again because I want to talk about this little point here. Okay, so when you're out and about dealing with a reactive dog, right, you've got things going on. Like as I'm walking down here, I'm thinking to myself, do I carry on down this path here, okay, which is nice and open, I can see, or do I take this little path off to my left here, okay? And I use them both fairly regularly on the walks. But if I go left down here, I'm all straight away heading into corners and difficulty because I can't see what's coming around that corner, right? Okay. So like if I'm out with my spicy dog, now most of you'll have your spicy dog on lead at this point. Obviously mine are off lead because the recall's very good and reliable and the training, has been done. But generally with a reactive dog, I'm choosing this path, okay? So my first tip for you is think about the environment that you're in, and you can greatly reduce your mental load, greatly reduce the stress that you're under. You're still wondering why I'm stood still. Here we are, good dogs. By just making good decisions about the places in the places that you go with them. So like I could choose to walk down that narrow path, but I can't see what's coming. I don't know what's ahead. I haven't got time to recall my dog. I haven't got time to prepare. If they're on the lead, if they're permanently on the lead, which a lot of you will have with your terriers, then I can just keeping an eye on what they're up to. Then I can prepare for that, right? So I'm choosing like nice open paths like this. So this is my first tip to you, right? Let's just come up as I'm walking around. Think really carefully about where you are, where you're taking your dog, and what kind of situations you're putting yourself in. If you're going, go dogs. If you're constantly putting yourself in the situation where you are having to, go around blind corners, you're getting surprised by dogs, it's very stressful for you and it's very stressful for your dog. And you're also just setting your dog up to react all of the time, which is really not what you want. So that's my first tip for you as part of this thing. Like really think about where you're going. Think about open spaces. Think about paths where you can see things coming really clearly. And make sure you're in environments that are set up for your level of training, okay? These two have now got excellent, I would say 99%, fingers crossed, reliable recall. And therefore, I know I can come to this kind of place and I can recall them if I need to against those distractions. I've got no stress to hang around with me, a bit like you saw when I need to pass that dog. They were right with me, pop them on the lead, walk by, no problem. Okay, so my journey with Elvis, back to that. And basically, I hit a load of problems, right? I hit a load of problems with him. He'd started to become aggressive with other dogs because he was now fighting his corner, because he's a terrier, right? And I hate to say this, guys, if you've got a terrier that is currently reacting, barking, lunging, is aggressive or can get to the stage of being aggressive very, very quickly, it's gone beyond that kind of frustration. It's now like, right, I'm going to attack this dog and I actively want to attack this dog, which is the situation I ended up in with Elvis. Then your terrier isn't scared, right? They might have had a couple of rough experiences in the early days, yeah, like he did. He had a couple of like, well, I didn't like that too much, and I didn't like that big dog in my face. And then he defended himself, like the 4th time or the 5th time that it happened. I can really remember it. I can remember this dog coming up to him and just thinking, oh, this will be fine, because he's not bothered about other dogs and he's good. And he just went for the dog, right? Like teeth, fur, the whole works, right? And that was just the first time I was seeing how he'd been feeling about those other dogs, right? And after that, he realised, because he's a terrier, that he flipping loved it, right? He's like, I flipping love this. I've turned something that I was having a negative experience about, I've turned it into a positive experience, and I flipping love it, and I want to do it again, right? So then you not only have a dog that is, starting to see other dogs as a problem, they're starting to see them as a way to give themselves a positive outlet for some of that terrier stuff in their life that they're missing, right? So they're missing the outlets to be a terrier. They're missing the chance to be aggressive, because let's face it, folks, that's what they were bred to do. They were bred to get into fights with stuff, right? Let's not sugarcoat it, okay? That's what we've bred for the last 100 years these dogs to do. So we were basically just seeing that come out. I was just starting to see that come out in him. And you have nothing really that's gonna, you can't stop that from becoming a thing, because that's how they're genetically bred. They're gonna get a huge dopamine kick. They're gonna get a huge adrenaline rush. Wow, that was the best thing I ever did. And all of a sudden they're looking for fights, okay? Elvis will still quite cheerfully get himself into a fight, even though you've just literally seen me walk by other dogs with no problems, from a dog that at one point was like massively reactive. He will get himself into fights if given the opportunity, because he flippin' loves it. So it's just a little, thing to be aware of. So basically, I was at this point working with another dog trainer, because we'd hit COVID by this point, and I was doing all the marketing and stuff, right? Because I used to be a professional photographer, and I was doing all the marketing and building the website for this other dog trainer that I knew, who wanted to get his business online. Like all of us during COVID, we were scraping around for ways to make money, right? Especially us that were self-employed, because we didn't have any of that kind of like furlough, any of that kind of stuff. A nice little check-in on the puppy dogs. Good dogs. Kind of pops off again. We were working on a business where we were putting his dog training online, okay? And at this time I was learning loads about dog training, but what I was learning was gun dog training, because that's what this guy was. He was a gun dog trainer. And sure, we did bits with pet dogs and all that kind of stuff, but he wasn't like a reactivity specialist or anything. And he was used to working with Labradors and Spaniels for the most part, right? He did work with other pet breeds, but let's face it, Labradors and Spaniels are still the most common pet breeds as well. And they have a different mindset to how they work, right? A Lab, a Spaniel, Collies, a lot of those are the working breed dogs. As long as you give them the right direction and you provide them with the outlets that they need, they pretty much do what they're told, because they're bred to do that and they want to. Right? They're actively looking to you to give them direction, okay? So as long as you step up and do that, you're mostly okay. And sure, they have behaviour problems and stuff like that. Right, dogs, this way. This way, dogs. That's it. Good. They pretty much do that, okay? Now, when you then try and take that training attitude with your terrier, who doesn't necessarily want to do what you say, they're bred to work independently, to work fast, to work aggressively, to basically do what they're told, do what they want to do. Because we don't have the, we don't need to direct them on how to kill, like rats and mice and stuff. And a good chicken, good poppers. Let's go. We don't have to direct them to kind of stuff. That's their job. They go off and do it, right? We would just cheerlead them from the sides and watch them do it. And so then we go in with this attitude of, right, you're going to do what you're told, and I'm going to do like all the gun dog stuff. Right, I did it with Elvis. It was like, right, you will walk to heel, you will do downstays, and he could do like an absolutely epic, massive downstay. and come back to me. But again, none of that's any real use if you just want to take your dog for a flipping walk, right? Which is what the most of you want to do. You want to be able to take your dog for a walk, have them not scream and yell at other dogs, and recall when you ask them to. Okay, like not chase deer for 3 hours. Right? It's not, you're not really looking for a dog that can do, you know, like 10-minute downstage 300 meters away from you, because it doesn't really matter for a pet dog. Right? So nevertheless, that's the training that a lot of you will have come across, will have gone down, right? Teaching all of this kind of stuff. What you actually need with a terrier is for them to do this. Right? Like you can see, this is like, I've not paused or edited this. This has been running since I first started on my walk. Right? And they're just hanging around me. I'm not cueing this. I'm not giving them instruction. I'm not telling them to stay with me. I'm not, you know, directing that. They are offering to come to me to do those check-ins, to get their reward and to go back on their walks. They're not going far away from me. And if we get the opportunity to show a recall, I mean, I can just show you a recall, but if we get the opportunity to show an actual recall, I will do. I'm not going to lie, I never hope for that. I never hope for a deer to run out in front of me. I may need to recall the dogs, but if it happens on this video, that'll be good, because then I can show you. But they can do it. That's what I'm doing. Right, I'm going to stop for another little point here about where I am. Right, as you can see now, it looks way further away in the video, that I am now approaching like what I'd call like a blind exit. Right, so I've got a spicy dog, Mr. Elvis, who, he's heard me say his name, doesn't necessarily get involved, doesn't necessarily get on with every dog. So I'm like, Elvis, good lad. I want him to come in, good. And I want to get out of this junction ahead of him, okay? Elvis, wait there, good lad. That's it, so he's now next to me. Good boy, his sister can go, she's pretty social. I can now see, and then he can go forward, okay? So I know that when I let him out like there, there's nobody coming down there, right? I can see what's coming ahead, but there's nothing there, okay? Just another little point of like mental load and control of your dog. That's how you avoid problems, right? You have a little bit of awareness of what's going on. Right, back to the training story. So I then went everywhere, okay? Like I realised that this style of training that I've been doing with him has failed, right? Because I'm in a like, with the best will in the world, I'm in a pile of shit with this dog, okay? He's barking at other dogs. I can't let him off the lead because I can't control him. Like, what the hell do I do, okay? And it is causing my life a bit of a misery. I've got a young son. I've got stuff to do. Like, what am I going to do? Because this dog's miserable. I'm miserable. This is not working. So I then ended up, me being me, on a journey and eventually became a professional dog trainer. I have taken an obscene amount of dog training qualifications, right? Like loads of them. My opinions on dog training has changed a lot over the last 6 years in terms of like what works, what doesn't work, how to do it, what you should and shouldn't be doing. And one of the reasons why I'm now here specialising specifically in terriers, well, actually, there's a couple of reasons. One is that it's what I'm good at, right? It's what I'm good at. It's what I've lived with. It's the journey that I have personally been on. I've gone from barking, lunging, screaming, aggressive, will physically attack other dogs, can't control him, like lost him for 2 hours chasing deer, to a dog that's now, as you can see, like I'm not pretending. You've been with me. I haven't stopped recording, and he's with me. He's checking in. I've controlled him past other dogs, no problem, right? Okay. I've been on that journey, right? And he can now go anywhere and do anything. Is he 100% social? No, he's not. That's why he goes by where we pass other dogs. Can he be social with dogs? Yes, he absolutely can. I do a bit of dog walking in the mornings, and he's fine with those dog walking dogs so long as he's introduced to them. He absolutely can be social. So I've been on that journey, right? So that's my number one reason for specialising in terriers, because it's what I'm good at. Number two is that I believe as dog trainers we should specialise, right? In the same way that like doctors specialise. If I'm going for brain surgery, I don't want the heart surgeon to do it, right? I want the brain surgeon to do it. It's like, I'm not lying on a table going, okay, I'm about to have brain surgery, have the guy walk in and go, hi, I'm Jeff, the liver specialist. Right, pardon? Right, so I believe as dog trainers we should be doing that, because these breeds are so different. They're as different as like the heart is to the lungs. They're all in the same area and they all, but they're different, and being a specialist in those things I think is what we should be doing. So that's what I'm doing here. If I was trying to make loads of money and have the biggest business and all that kind of stuff, it's not what I'd be doing. But I'm not bothered about that. I'm here to try and help folk that are on the same journey that I was on to get to this where I'm at now, which is going for a lovely walk with my dogs, and being able to have them off the lead and know that I can control situations as they come up, and basically having that mental load lifted and just being like, phew, thank God, right, I can go for a walk with a dog, because that's all I ever wanted. I just wanted to go for a walk with a dog. Right, cool. So basically I went on all of the dog training courses. I've been in multiple memberships. I've done thousands of pounds worth of mentorships with some of the country's best dog trainers. And what I've ended up finding is that there were little bits of all of those things that worked really, really well, right, for my dog. There were other bits. There's another optional check-in from the good, well-behaved doggos here. Nice. Okay, come on, break. There were little bits of all of those dog training methodologies, if you like, that worked specifically for my terriers. And when I applied to them, I applied those little bits, I was like, oh, that's actually worked quite well. And I've had the best teacher in the world, which is Elvis, this little idiot down here, and he has taught me, just through life experience, the things that have worked and not worked for him. And I know there are loads of dogs out there like Elvis, and loads of people like me, where you feel like you have a 5 to 10 kilo ball of fire on the end of your lead. It doesn't listen to you like people say it should. When you tell it to do things, it doesn't do it. You can offer it an entire roast chicken and it still won't stop doing the things that you want it to do. You can tell it off and it doesn't care. Right? All of this is true for a lot of terriers, and you don't know what the hell to do with yourself. So hopefully, while I say I can't promise you miracles, I can certainly make your life a lot better fairly quickly, I think. Right, so that's Terrier School. That's why Terrier School exists. That's me. That's my problem little dog. And then I've got his little sister now as well, who is a good girl for the most part. She's still a terrier, but she's been brought up in this kind of like ethos, and I think treated like a terrier should be treated right from day one. And really, I think I've dodged most of the problems that she could have easily had, but she doesn't. So that's fab. You often see her in some of the videos because she's super well behaved. Right, so I said I was going to give you a couple of techniques, right? Because I'm not here just to chat about me. I want to give you a couple of techniques that are going to help you when you're out and about on your daily walks. So you've already spoken about the first thing, which is just managing your environment, right? It's massively important. And I've shown you a couple of bits and bobs about that. Like when you're out and about walking, make sure you're thinking about where you're going and what you're doing. Don't put yourself into difficult situations, right? And it helps you a lot is to know that you're not doing that. Okay, like if you're going around a corner going, oh my God, there might be a dog, like just don't go around that corner. It might mean that you have to put yourself out in other ways, in the sense that you have to come and find locations, places where there are less dogs. And I understand that not everybody lives like I do in the Scottish borders, where I can come to this kind of place and know that, I'm going to have minimal interactions with dogs, right? I know that not everybody has that. Some of you, you're in the centre of big cities, you step out of your door in your flats and you are literally surrounded by dogs. I get that. But you have to do as much as you can to reduce that environmental load in order to make your life a little bit easier in the short term. It's not going to fix your reactivity, okay? It isn't, but it is going to make your life easier. It's going to reduce your stress levels, it's going to reduce your dog's stress levels, which actually will reduce your reactivity overall. So that's like number one, and I've given you a few examples. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get up to this little clearing bit up here, and I'm going to show you one of my favourite little techniques that I still use a lot now, and I think will be super beneficial for you. So let's just get up this little hill here. So try and film this all in one go, with the exception of picking up poo. I don't think you need to see that. Right, here we go. Got a nice little open bit here that I can use. See which dog we use. I'll use Mr. Elvis, seeing as he's the problem child. And Beatty will hang around. Hopefully she won't disappear off into the forest. Right, here we go. I'm going to show you something called tap and go, okay? What I want the dog to learn is that when I put pressure on the lead, I want them to turn around and come back to me, okay? Because a lot of you will have dogs that are currently permanently stuck on lead, right? Elves, coming up here, mate. Good lad. Right, so let's pop you down here. Hopefully, right, nobody knock them over. Right, come here, dogs, knock them over. Come here, good girl. Right, hopefully you can see me. Right, okay, cool. So, I'm gonna pop a dog on a lead. Now, I'm not here to discuss equipment, right? I don't care what you use, right? You can do this on a harness, on a collar, on a flat collar. You can do it on whatever you like, because we're not yanking dogs around and pulling them around. I want my dogs day to day on slip leads like this, because they're off the lead 99% of the time and they're well trained and they walk on the lead nicely. So this is just easy, they pack in my pocket. That's the reason, right? It's got nothing to do with corrections or like being mean to the dogs or anything along those lines, right? Also, I want to see that the dogs are just hanging around, right? This is the thing that we can train for you. Right, who's doing this demonstration? Elves? No, not you, Bops. She's like, Beatty's like, I want to play and earn treats. Right, you're doing this demo, Elvie dog. Good lad. Right, so I'm just going to pop his lead on. In the right place. Good lad. And what I want to teach him is that when he feels a little tap on this lead, he's to look at me and to come to me, okay? Essentially what a lot of you will be doing right now is your dog will be lunging and leaping and pulling and being very silly, and you'll be like just holding on to lead and you'll be creating constant pressure on that dog, okay? Now what that does is just give that dog something to fight against. It's a terrier, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. You give it something to fight against, it will fight against it. Like, that's what it's bred to do. They enjoy it. They're having fun. They're out on the end of that lead, barking, lunging, snarling, being little Tasmanian devils, having a great time, okay? Getting all that body chemistry, getting that kick, and it's not good for you or for the dog, okay? So what we're going to do is, instead of using a constant pressure, we're just going to use a little tapping motion, okay? And literally, I'm talking about doing this very, very lightly, okay? I'm not like going like this, like, whoa, 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 like come back to me, like pulling my dog's head off. It's not what I'm doing. I'm teaching them that this little tap means come back to me, right? I might need to add a little bit of extra pressure in high adrenaline situations, but if I've done my training well, they should understand. So what I'm going to do to teach this initially is just go like this. have another dog involved. Right, let me give Beans something to do. Right, you ready, Bops? Go get it. Right, so I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to go tap, tap, yes, and mark and reward, okay? Yeah, you ready? Tap, tap. Yes, good boy. He knows that means to come to me. Now, in order to get this to look a little bit better, hang on, let me get back in the screen here. In order to get this to look sparky and exciting, and I want the dog to be like, oh, I need to turn to mum and run, or get back to her super, super quick, I'm doing a couple of things. One is putting some energy into it, okay? I'm adding this tap, tap to the lead, and then I'm backing off and giving my dog a target to aim to, and putting some energy into it and being like, because this is happening when the dog's excited, right? So I'm like, tap, tap, let's go, woohoo, bits like that, right? And the dogs can see that they feed off my energy, right? Okay? So I'm popping my tap, tap. They're smelling something out there. It's probably a squirrel or whatever. You can see them doing it. So I'm going to show you a real life example now. I'm going to go tap, tap. Yes, good boy, super job. And I'm backing up. Good lad. I know you did it as well, Bob, so you're a good girl. Okay? I'm going to train this when there's nothing around, okay? It might be that I do it somewhere like here, when I come out and about on a walk, and, you know, like there's nothing going on here, there's nobody here, it's nice and quiet and I can do it. Now you get out of that pocket, thank you, troublesome terrier. And you do it here, you might train it at home, you might train it in your back garden. But all you're looking for is to teach your dog that tap tap means turn to me, okay? So, one more time to show you how to do it. I'm going to go tap tap, yes, back off and feed, okay? Make sure you're using a nice high value reward, okay? And that is it. Now, once I've got that and I've practiced it and my dog is doing it and it's all going really, really well, I am then not going to allow them to steal the food out of my pockets. I'm going to start using distractions to train it, right? So I might put out in front of me a toy that the dog really likes, or I might put out in front of me some food that they're really interested in. Now, like genuinely, I'm out on a walk here with the dogs, so I wanted to film this in kind of like one go for you so you could see it all truthfully. But I haven't actually brought anything with me, but you could use like, hello baby, you could use like yesterday's dinner, you could use toys, you could use friends. Let me go, I want to go and have an investigate over there, dog. Go on, if you go, mate. Good lad. You could use like anything. No, Bob, you cannot be in that pocket. as you can see, they're very much still terriers. You could use anything in that moment, okay? Just something that the dog has a big desire for. Like you see there, I did it, they were sniffing into the distance for some squirrels, okay? Practice, 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 so that when you then come to do it in real life, tap, tap, turn to me, feed, 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 feed. The dog's doing it without even thinking about it, okay? And then when it's real life and there's a dog or something like that, then it's easy for the dog to do, okay? The crucial thing to remember is, in fact, let's get going on this walk again, is that you do this. Here we are, back again. Go on, dogs, let's go. Is that you do this before your dog reacts, okay? So what you're looking to do is to see that trigger in the distance and go, oh, there's the thing that my dog's going to kick off at, and you are then going to make that move at that point to get your dog to turn and come to you, right? You're not doing this when it's too late. If they're already lunging and leaping at the end of the lead, I mean, by all means have a go, but I would, it's sort of too late by that point. What you're doing is you're using this technique as a way to manage that problem, okay? Because I say I can't fix your reactivity for you in this kind of like 45-minute walk that I'm going to do. But I can give you these little techniques that are going to help. Okay, so you can get your dog to turn away. You can then go and hide around a corner. You can walk in the opposite direction. You can disappear off, into the forest, out of the way, and make some distance from your dog's trigger, right? It's not going to solve your activity problems. There's the dogs, there they are. But it is going to give you a way to stop them from barking, to manage that situation, to get rid of that stress. That's stress for you, that's stress for them, the embarrassment of them barking at other dogs, all that sort of stuff, right? If you're talking about walking in kind of urban areas, this is the kind of way where you can get your dog to turn, get behind a car, turn, walk away, go down a different street, okay? It's not perfect, right? Like I'm not pretending it is perfect, but it is a method that I can give you right now. It's dead easy to teach. It's going to make your life a little bit better. It is actually also, to be fair, I think it's going to contribute a little bit because it's your dog making that decision not to bark as well. You're saying to them, don't bark at that distance, that trigger, come this way, follow me. Every time they make that choice, that's helping their reactivity a little bit, right? It's probably not going to move the needle enough to get rid of it, but it is going to help a bit, right? So it's worth teaching, learning, and doing. Okay, chasing butterflies apparently. Right, fab. So let's get up this hill. Whew. Okay. So, right. Come on, dogs, let's go this way. Oh, I've fallen over. Right, I'm beginning to regret making this decision to film this all in one go. I'm quite fit actually, but my chest is a bit easy to do. Right, so what else I want to speak to you about? Before I give you the second technique for helping you, control, manage, reduce your dog's reactivity. The biggest thing that made a difference for me when it came to solving the issues with Elvis, or getting him to the stage where he is at now, because every dog has a level, right? Some of you will have dogs that are just a bit frustrated. Bops, 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 trying to eat a butterfly. Baby, good girl. Okay, I don't know eating butterflies. So you'll have dogs that are frustrated, a little bit just excited around other dogs, don't really know how to deal with it. Terrier social skills can often be really, really poor. So just, I don't know what you can see them, where are they? Digging around being terriers, look. And they just don't know what the hell to do with themselves. And the answer, because the terriers, is barking and lunging on the end of the lead, which isn't ideal. But those are dogs that really are fundamentally probably social. They're not going out there with like a mission to, where are we going? Not going out there with a mission to be aggressive, right? They're not actively looking at dogs going, I'm going to mess that dog up, right? I'm going to end that dog's day, right? And that's when those dogs, you'll get them to the stage where they can be social and be chilled, and you won't have any won't have any problems with them. Then you'll have the Elvises of the world who, unfortunately, and so a lot of this is on me, although At the time I didn't realise what was happening, like obviously now I would do. He was getting to that stage where he was becoming aggressive, okay, like actively forwardly aggressive. He likes a fight, he enjoys a fight, and he still does enjoy a fight. And he knows that the fight has a beneficial to him. I always think of him like one of those, you know, like cage fighting guys. You know, when you see them, they're like pumped up, like the music's going and the lights, whoo, and they're walking into that cage knowing damn well they might come out of it with like broken bone, well they are going to come out of it with like broken bones and bruises and cut up to hell, but it's not bothering them. They want to go and do it because they know that it's kind of what they've been preparing for and what they want to do, and they're going to enjoy it. And that's unfortunately what Elvis is like, and you will have terriers that are a bit like that, some of you. He knows, he's not bothered about the potential consequences, he just wants to fight. So if you are at that stage, don't panic. You can still get to the stage like I've got, which the dog's very obedient, does what he's told, doesn't start fights anymore, but has to have a level of management, because I don't put him in the situations where he might start fights. So, or another dog out of my control might start a fight with him. Right, so I put him on the lead to walk past new dogs. If I don't know the dog, he goes on a lead, he walks by, right? It's as simple as that. He gets plenty of dog contact, he lives with another dog. He's not starved of social, you know, like social time. So he just doesn't get to meet new dogs, because I'm not going to put him in that situation. And if you have that dog, that's also fine. You can get to that stage where you can go out, live your life, come out on lovely walks. We go to cafes, we go to other people's houses, we do all the things that you want to do with your dog. He just doesn't get to meet strange dogs. And if I need to introduce him to a dog, because it's a friend's dog or a family's dog, or it's a dog walking client or a client dog or something, that's fine. The introductions are done, they're done properly and appropriately, and he's fine. Right, so you can get to that stage as well. I've sort of forgotten what I was talking about. Because I've gone on rambling about dogs. But I think the overall point I'm trying to make here is that that's what we're here to give you long term. If you want those opportunities, I have a recovering from reactivity program. You can check the testimonials for it. It works. It's an online program. You can either take it as a DIY course if you want to go through stuff at your own time. If you want, windy. If you want to do it as a group coaching, which is how I suggest you do it, because it's working alongside other people and it's getting contact with me every week, where I give you more in-depth stuff. You can ask questions. That is, I'm getting out of the wind now. Then that is also available to you. And we also have the little Terrier School community, which is super cheap, covers my costs, and we have a little once a month Q&A. We have a theme every month where we learn something new. It's going to help and progress your training forward, okay? It's going to give you a better relationship with your dog, and that is fundamentally what you want, right? So there's those options there available to you, okay? Right, back to the stuff that is going to help you. The next thing that I want to teach you that is going to give you another little like tool in your toolbox, in terms of there's a lot of wind in these trees today, and the dogs are very excited about potentially chasing things. So if I'm keeping a bit of an eye on them, excuse me, and it's making my nose run. The next little tool in the toolbox that's going to help you loads is teaching your dog to be really comfortable with being lured. Okay, and this is quite simply having some high value food in your hand that you wiggle and jiggle around like this in a fist, and your dog follows that fist. Okay, you teach them to stick their nose on your hand, and I might even just turn you around so you can see how excited the dogs are. Elvis is clearly, I might have to recall them. There goes Beatty at 100 miles an hour. She wants to know, right, they're going to chase something. Good boy. What's that going? She's not sure. Good girl. Beatty, go on. she's really not sure. There's something down there. I don't know if you can see her. It's something she's trying to chase. Beatty, come on! She's actually stopped on the whistle. So here we go. We're getting like a real good high prey drive recall here. Elvis has come back to me. Good lad. Elvis, no. No. Beatty, come on. Let's go. I don't know what's down there. So this is like real life recall with high prey drive terriers. She's really not wanting to come back. But she's not going either, so I'll take that. Beatty, come on. Good girl. Good girlie. Super job. Oh, that was a hard one. Okay, so he wasn't chasing, so I wasn't going to panic and stress about it, right? But she was very, very clearly struggling to come back. Because she wasn't running away, I wasn't going to take extra steps. I was giving her time to process and think about it, and she did come to the recall eventually, so I will take that, okay? So, still something clearly that they're very excited about. Now, because they've got guaranteed, as I would say, guaranteed recall, nothing's ever 100%. I mean, real life. Elvis, wait! I don't want him going around that corner again, because he is very excited. I don't want him to get out of my sight, because if he gets out of my sight, I won't necessarily be able to, I won't know what he's doing, and if he shoots off at 100 miles an hour, then I can't see it. Right, so here we go. There's a little segue now. I'm not really here to talk about recall as a thing, but seeing as we're in it, let's do it. I'm now thinking to myself that these dogs are highly aroused, right? You can see, and most of you who've got terriers will be looking at this thinking, oh my good God, she's left them off the lead. Dogs, right? Elvis. It's because I've got this, got good control. But even now, I'm looking at them thinking they're really highly aroused. They could potentially ignore me, right? Because they're really highly aroused. So they might actually be going back on the lead in a minute. Just for safety's sake. Actually, this has worked out really well. I didn't think we were going to get like a prey drivey type situation on this video, but we have, which is cool. Elves, wait there. Right, hey. Okay. Good. Okay, I'm checking down ahead of me. I can see there's nothing else coming. There's no dogs coming or anything, so I'm not like stressed in that respect. If there was, they'd be going back on the lead. I know I've got prey drive recall, so I can leave them off the lead. By being able to leave them off the lead, I'm reducing their frustration, right? I'm reducing their stress. Because as soon as I put them back on the lead, I'm starting to get into conflict with them, which is the thing I don't want to do with the terrier. I don't want to get into conflict with it because it's going to enjoy that conflict. It's going to wind it up. It's going to add arousal levels. So I'm going to basically just, because I know I've got good recall, I can leave them off. And this is part of the pressure that gets lifted off you as an owner once you know you have guaranteed recall, because you can relax a little bit. I'm not actually stressed right now because I know I can get them back, okay? Like, I know I can. So I'm not stressed or panicking. You can see it's definitely, I think it's just the wind, to be honest. There's like so much wind in the trees at the moment. They're like shooting off at 100 miles an hour after stuff that's probably not even there. We're just coming out of this section of trees now, so again, like in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, okay, popping out this section of trees, just want to make sure there's nothing ahead. I don't want them shooting out. I'm looking sort of left over there, so you kind of see any dogs coming down here. I don't want them shooting out ahead of me into other dogs. A, because of Elvis's problems, and B, because I don't know what that other dog is going to be like. It might be a dog that's on a lead, that's reactive, that has problems with other dogs, and I don't want them getting involved in that. Right, all good. We made it through in one piece. There we go. Like, I wasn't really intending to, well, I didn't come out here to talk about prey drive and recall around prey drive and stuff, but there you go. I think it's the wind, as you can see it's really windy. Hat's going to blow off in a minute. I've just given you like a real life view there, the fact that I can recall them. They're still off the lead. There they are. I've got control of my dogs, okay? They're living their best life because they're off the lead. I'm living my best life because I'm not stressed, because I know I've got control of them. And everything's basically peachy. No, I can't like wander around on my phone and like pretend they're not there and ignore them like I might do if I was walking like I think some Labradors and a couple of collies that I can do with that I know. But like, I'm always going to be focused on them to a level to make sure that they're not getting involved with other dogs, they're not chasing things, they're not doing stuff. But hey, it's all relatively stress-free because I know I've got control. Right, that was a little interlude. How long have we been going? 43 minutes. Woo! Giving you some value here, folks. Buy something from me at the end, will you? Right, okay. Let's talk Lauren then. Let's get back to that as soon as the real life stepped in the way a little bit there. Some prey drive. Let's talk about Lauren. Lauren's a really, really useful thing. Okay? It's just teaching the dog that when I tell you to put your nose on my hand, I want that nose to stay there and I want you to follow it. And I want you to follow and go where I want, okay? Like, I want you to imagine how useful that is. Okay? If you've got a terrier that's like, right, I want to kick off with that other dog, or I want to chase that squirrel, or I want to do whatever. Right, I'm just going to call Elvis back because he seems to have been going miles away. Elvis! Steady there, please. Good boy. That's a super useful skill, essentially, isn't it? Like, it just means that you can control your dog, and it's just luring. Okay, it's not like the dog making good independent decisions, which is eventually what I want the dog to do. I want the dog to make good independent decisions. Okay, I want them to listen. I want them to just do stuff because it's the right thing to do, and I don't want to have to manage them. I want them to see dogs and stop and come to me like mine do. I want them to, I want them to just to not do the stuff that's difficult. But until you've taught those skills and you've spent the time and the potentially months of consistent training, you can have these little things that can make your life so much easier. So once we get to a little spot over here, we'll do a little bit of luring so that we can see what that looks like. I'm just going to get us to a place where it's good to film it. So we're just going to go over this little rise here. Elvis has actually just gone over it, but I could see over this rise as we were back there, so I know there's no other dogs, so it's fine. I could let him go over it. I wouldn't let him go over it if I didn't know that there was, nothing the other side. But I did, so it's fine. Okay, here we go. Might be a little good spot for filming here before we hoof it up that hill. There it is. That said, I might go a little bit further because I don't really want one of them running off into the forest while I'm not paying any attention. And here you go. This is a dog making a good decision, right? This is a dog that's desperate to go in there and chase, okay? One of the training systems I worked with for a long time was predation substitute training. And those of you that are eagle-eyed will have noticed that dogs are now wearing e-collars. I'm not here to debate the pluses and minuses and the ethics of that right now. If you want to get into it with me, then by all means, please message me. But it's been a massive... All I'll say is it's Elvis, wait there. All I'll say it's been Elvis, wait there. I don't know if you can see him, but he's just desperate to get off into there. Right, here. Elvis. Elvis, go on. Yes, I'm talking to you. Thank you. Right, good boy. That's it. Okay, so there we go. He's got good recall. Although for some reason he decided that wasn't him I was talking to there. Maybe thought I was recalling Beatsy. He did. Elvis has been through the predation substitute training, and it's a good training system. Like, it really, really is. And that's why he's very good at waiting and making those good decisions. As I say, I'm not here to debate the pros and cons of e-collars. You'll see mine are wearing them, and it's all I'll say. It's been a game changer. Okay, it's not something that I make. I don't think you have to do it. I'm not here to force you into it or make you, whatever. It's something I can help you with if you want to go down that road. That's all we're here for. Right, luring. Let's do it. Right, pups. Good. Let me pop you down. Let's see if we can get you down. I don't think you're very flat there. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a treat in my hand, and I'm just very simply going to teach my dog to follow my hand like this, okay? Now, I might have to put a super high value treat in my hand at this point, okay? I've just got a piece of their ordinary stuff. It might be that I have like a super high value piece of chicken or something like that. And all I do is I pop that in my hand, right, like this. I'm down to crumbs actually because I've sort of run out of treats a bit, so you can show you how much drive the dogs have got. right? And I'm just going to teach the dog that if they continue to put pressure on my hand like that, I will release a little bit for them, okay? And then every now and again, I'll release a little bit for them. And she's licking and she's putting pressure on my hand. She's like, I want that thing, Mum. I want it, I want it, I want it. Okay? And then all I do is just add some movement to that. Okay? And I just get them to follow like this. Now, if your dog doesn't have this level of drive, I've got two of them now doing it. If your dog doesn't have this level of drive, like they're not that interested in food, then you need to build that first, okay? And that might be a situation that you're in. Yeah, I know, pups. I've sort of run out. I'm on crumbs here, guys. Then that might be something that you need to build, okay? Now, there's a little food motivation course you can pick up for that. It's dead cheap, and you can start with it. But what I would suggest you do is when you're first teaching this, you go in for like a really high level piece of food, right? If you've got a food crazy dog like this one, he'll like literally work for cardboard. I mean, I literally had 2 little crumbs in my hand there because I've pretty much run out of stuff on this walk now. Then that's fine, you know, like you can just do that. But if you've got a dog that's a bit less foodie, like go for something really high value, make it exciting for them, make it so that they want to be when they want to work, and just spend like a week, 2 weeks even, just teaching them to follow your hand. It's dead simple. And then as they get high drive for it and excitement for it, and they really want to do it, and they have fun, and you can teach them little spins and all sorts, then just use it in those situations. So you see a dog coming, and you have to get past it. Get a whole fucking handful of high value food, stick in your hand and get them to walk by. Give them something else to do other than that behaviour that they're wanting to do, which is bark and yell at that dog, okay? It's not a long tutorial because it's a really simple behaviour. Like, it's not a thing that we need, it's not a thing that like you need to spend, it takes me hours and hours to teach you. It's quite simple, and that's one of the good things about it. But you just practice it for a while and get loads of drive, and again then practice it against other distractions, exactly the same as we talked about with the tap and go. Practice against other distractions, like can I lure my dog past some other food? Can I lure them past their favourite person who's calling them? Can I lure them past whatever? And then go from there, and then use it against other dogs. Okay, so it's not going to solve your activity problem necessarily. It's not going to give you a dog that's going to like see another dog and go, I don't care about barking at it anymore. But it is going to give you a management technique that's going to help. Okay. Oh gosh, my knees are getting old. Right, come on, pups. There they go. You can also see that my dogs hang around with me. Okay, it's none of that set up. There's no social media setups in this. This is filmed all in one go. We're at 50 minutes now. If you're still with me, congratulations. I wanted to show you the dogs in real life. I wanted to show you that this is all done in one take, apart from the poo picking up. So you can see the dogs, their real life behaviour. You've seen me do prey drive, you've seen me walk past another dog, you've seen them just choose to naturally hang around with me and check in on a regular basis. You've seen the results of my training systems, the way I train, and the dogs that I have as a result of that. And I can promise you, Elvis has been in fights, okay? The day he opted off his own back to go and attack an entire male Great Dane, I knew I had a problem, right? I was like, literally like, oh shit, I can't believe he's done that. Right? And he wanted to fight that dog, and he came out of that fight with his eyes wide, and he was pumped, and he'd had a fantastic time. And I knew at that point I had a real issue, and I needed to do something about it. I seem to have lost a dog now. Where is she? BT! Bye-bye! There she is. Did you get lost, darling? What are you doing? Okay, so again, I'm hoping that you're seeing the real life of, me and my dogs, and the life that I want you to have. I want you to have this life with your dogs. I think you've seen that they're happy, engaged, they can do everything that they need to do. We've actually only seen one set of dogs today. I was kind of hoping to see more. That's why I've come at this time of day. The car park was quite busy when I got here. I was hoping to show you that to pass more dogs. I knew it wasn't going to be that easy with the filming side of it, but hopefully you've got the feeling that they can do it. But I have shown it to you. Real life, it's not just social media. Gosh, they're going off in there digging holes now. They've found something in here to dig. Right, and this is the other benefit to having a dog, or a terrier in specifically. I don't know if you can see them. I can see them quite clearly. Oh my God, there they are. To to having a terrier that has those abilities to listen, to be off lead, is because, look, they get to do that, right? My dogs get to lead their best life. And because they are leading their best life, I am leading my best life. They're nice and chilled. When we get home from this walk, they'll have run, they'll have had opportunities to express prey drive, they haven't dug any holes today, but quite often they'll stop and dig a hole. Maybe we'll get that now, actually. Hang on. Dig holes, dudes. But they will quite often ferret around in these tree stumps and dig holes and stuff. This might be what they're after now. And because of their ability to, be around other dogs safely, the fact I can just call them back and pop them on leads, their ability to listen to me, which you've seen under high prey drive situations, and my ability to manage them, they get to do this stuff, okay? They get to live this life, right? And genuinely, while I do loads of other things with them, like I do scent work with them, turn you around, I play with them every day, pretty much. I give them loads of other outlets because I'm now a dog trainer, right? It's what I do. And I get a lot of fulfillment out of it. But if I was to not be a dog trainer tomorrow, I promise you, I can bring these two dogs out for a nice walk, an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, more if I've got it, because I'll be honest, like the more exercise you can get them, the better. Then she's rolling. You're stopping rolling, Bob. Okay. They would be happy dogs, right? Like I wouldn't have to be going out of my way to do scent work, trailing, like teaching them tricks, all the stuff that I do with them, because I enjoy it now. And I think they do get a lot of fulfillment out of it, and it adds a lot to their lives, it adds a lot to my life. But the point is, if I was just a pet owner now, which is what I wanted, which is where I set out to be, I could just take these two for a walk twice a day, and sometimes that is all I do. We just go for walks. They get to live their best lives, just like they are doing right now. Look, living their best lives. Off he goes for a sniff over there. They get to live their best lives. I get to live my best life, and we have the stuff we need. So we're just about the end of our walk now. I can't fix your reactivity. I haven't fixed your reactivity problems for you in the last 55 minutes. I can't, right? Because there's months, there's definitely weeks. If you've got the dedication, there's probably months worth of training in that for you. The training isn't actually that complicated, and the reactivity course that I have works. I know it works. I've taught it as a one-to-one dog trainer over the last couple of years. It's now in a digital course, and I've had clients go through it digitally and in coaching, and it works, right? I know it does. There's testimonials there, you can read them. And I've just proven, I think, like with my own dog, that's it. There's been no cuts or editing. We've just gone on a walk. We've come across what we've come across, and I could take you down the high street with him if I wanted to and add it in. I know that works, and that's available for you. It's available for you as a digital course. It's also available as a 10-week coaching program. There'll be a next start date for that. And if my advice is, if you can do it, is to do the 10-week coaching program, because it gives you access to me. I'll answer your WhatsApps, your DMs anytime you're doing those 10 weeks. We have a weekly chat where you get to meet people that are in the same problem. Like listening to their Q&A situations helps you a lot as well, I think. They are doing terrier stuff now, digging holes. Let's turn you around again. There we go. See, they get to live this life, look. There they are, happily terriering. So yeah, now I'm trying to sell stuff here and I'm not doing a very good job. So that's available to you. You can also work with me on a one-to-one basis if you want to. I'm really truthful, really honest about the situation you're in, what I can do for you, what I can't do for you, what we can and can't achieve with your dog. And I will make it as easy as possible for you. And we've also got the community. So we've got this nice little community where we have a little monthly theme for things like cafe dog. We'll do that one month where we'll talk about how to get your dog to go and settle in cafes and how to get them to do that. We might have a month on play, how to build up play with your dog and really build that nice relationship with them. We might have a month specifically on like some reactivity stuff. Basically the themes will just be every month, and I'll pop in little videos a couple of times a week on that. We'll have a little challenge, and then we'll have a monthly Q&A as well, and that's a super cheap little community to be part of. And it's better than a Facebook group because the stuff that the advice that you get is real. It's from people that are in the same situation as you. It's monitored by me. If somebody puts up some terrible advice, I will let you know that's terrible advice, which you don't get in a Facebook group. And it's not, there's no, I don't know about anybody else, but like it's not got the distractions of social media, right? You can visit it with purpose to get the information that you need about your terrier, and then switch it off again. Okay, you're not like getting distracted and dragged away by adverts and all that kind of stuff. So there's that too. So hopefully, if you want this, if you want your dogs to be doing this, you see right now I'm just on a walk with them. I'm not having to put loads of effort into this. They're busy fulfilling their terrier needs, and I get to chat to you guys and talk about the weather, and we'll look at the view, which is very pretty, by the way. I'm just in the Meldons, although I think the camera's struggling a wee bit with the exposure there. Then if you want to walk like I've just had, where I have two high prey drive, one formerly aggressive, still spicy terrier, shall we say, and I've just done a lovely walk in the countryside. I've passed other dogs, I've called them off high prey drive chase. They have stayed with me the whole way. I stop, they stop, and I've managed to do all of that while holding this camera and talking to you and giving you 2 tutorials. That's not because I am a genius, that's because I've put the work in and my dogs are nice dogs to be around now. So yeah, that's it. All the links and information that you need are around this video. I'm going to stay here now until the dogs have finished digging their hole, because I like to give them the opportunity to do this kind of thing on a walk, because it's their walk. This is them fulfilling the needs. This is the things that makes them calm, chilled out dogs. And I've also just tipped over an hour. So if you're still watching, great. I'm not here to make tons of money. I wouldn't be niching down into terriers if I was. I'd be staying broader in the broader dog sphere and helping like all breeds of dogs. I'm here to do something which I'm really passionate about, which is help people with the specific problems that I had, to go through a lot less stress than I did, and to put food on my table for my dogs and my son. So if you are wanting to solve that problem, I hope I can be that person to solve that problem for you, and you might find your way to looking at some of my offerings and maybe purchasing one of them. So drop me a message if you have any questions or if there's anything else I can help you with. And thanks for being here, guys. Go and use those techniques. They're free. They'll make your life better. And if you really want to take that next step and live this life that I live with my dogs, get in touch.